Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Change Dude podcast. I'm your host, Saeed Rafay, and today we are diving deep into a question that's been whispered in tech meetups, shouted on LinkedIn, and endlessly debated on various social media platforms. Is the developer dead? Are we on the verge of seeing the extinction of human coders? All because of artificial intelligence? That's what we are going to unpack today. Not just with hot takes, but with historical context, practical insight, and a forward-looking lens. Whether you are a junior developer worried about job security, a senior engineer trying to understand your role in this shifting landscape, or someone just curious about the future of software creation, this one is for you. Let's get into it. The fear that AI will take over coding didn't emerge out of nowhere. It has been building over the last decade, quietly evolving alongside advances in machine learning, natural language processing, and transformer-based models. The rise of tools like GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, and Replic's Ghostwriter has amplified that fear. Because for the first time, code generation doesn't look like automation. It feels like intelligence. Suddenly, a prompt like "build me a to-do app in React" results in working code. Not perfect code, but code. That's enough to shake people. It doesn't matter how many caveats you throw in about context, debugging, or edge cases. The sheer speed with which these tools can produce working software makes even experienced developers pause. But here's the thing. Fear often comes from a misunderstanding of history. This isn't the first time developers were declared obsolete. We saw this panic during the rise of low-code platforms. We saw it when WordPress became dominant. We saw it with the birth of drag-and-drop app builders. And yet, here we are. Still coding, still in demand. But this time feels different, doesn't it? That's worth exploring. Right now, as I record this in mid-2025, AI can generate boilerplate code, suggest completions, detect bugs, and even build simple web apps or API integrations if you are detailed in your prompts. And yes, it's getting better with each passing month. What it cannot do is hold deep context over a long development lifecycle. It cannot manage project trade-offs, negotiate with stakeholders, or design scalable systems that will grow with users. It cannot truly debug unknown issues with an understanding of business logic, user intent, or tech debt accumulated over years. That's not to say it won't get there eventually, but for now, AI is a powerful assistant, not an autonomous engineer. But here is where it gets tricky. Many companies don't need elegant architecture or deeply thought out systems. They just want a working MVP. And that's where AI changes the economics of software development. Suddenly, someone with minimal coding background can get from idea to prototype in hours. That's revolutionary. But does that kill the developer? No. It repositions the developer. Here's the truth that's uncomfortable but necessary to say out loud. If your job is writing simple CRUD apps, create, read, update, delete, copying Stack Overflow code, and stitching together tutorials, your role is under threat. Not because you are not valuable as a human, but because machines have learned to do that task at near zero marginal cost. But if your job is understanding human needs and translating them into technical realities. If your job is architecting systems, ensuring maintainability, protecting data integrity, and planning for scale, you are more valuable than ever. Developers are being asked to evolve. The keyboard is still your weapon, but the battlefield has changed. You are no longer a code monkey, you are a problem solver, a system designer, a product-aware engineer who sees the bigger picture. The one who thrives in the age of artificial intelligence won't be the fastest typers or fastest thinkers. They will be the ones who ask the best questions, who explore, investigate, and synthesize. That's a mindset shift we need to lean into, not resist. Now, this has big implications for how we teach people to code. If artificial intelligence can write the syntax, should we still spend months teaching loops, arrays, and recursion? Yes, but not the way we used to. The goal is no longer just to learn syntax. The goal is to understand why the code works, when to use a certain pattern, and what trade-offs come with every technical decision. When I mentor newcomers to tech, I often say the most important skill you can build is the ability to think in systems, think in flows, think in user impact. That's where your job will live, even if the AI handles the grunt work of writing out the function body. We need to teach students to become artificial intelligence augmented builders, not to fear these tools but to write them. The future coder is someone who can co-create with AI. That means prompt engineering, critical evaluation, contextual editing, and debugging artificial intelligence hallucinations will be part of the curriculum, whether we like it or not. Let's zoom out and talk about industry. A lot of startups are already replacing full-stack developers with AI-powered builders who know just enough to get something launched. This leads to faster MVPs, sure, but also to fragile software, security vulnerabilities, and long-term maintainability issues. That's the risk. But the upside is access. People who couldn't afford a development team before can now build. That's democratizing. That's powerful. It means more people from more backgrounds can create software. And that's a win for innovation. But the ethical questions are growing too. What happens when artificial intelligence starts producing proprietary code that looks too much like open source? Who is liable for bugs in artificial intelligence generated code? What happens to junior developers who used to learn by writing the code artificial intelligence now writes for them? We are in uncharted waters, and the policy hasn't caught up. Which means developers, especially senior ones, need to be part of the conversation, not just reacting to AI, but helping shape how it is used in real teams, real organizations, real systems. This could be your moment to lead. Don't waste it by staying silent. So let's come back to that dramatic question. Is the developer dead? No. But the idea of what a developer is undergoing a kind of death and rebirth. We are shedding the skin of the solo builder hunched over an IDE, cranking out code from scratch. We are entering the era of the integrator, the orchestrator, the one who leverages tools, collaborates with AI, communicates across disciplines, and creates value faster. That might feel like a loss if your identity was wrapped up in code purity, but it's also an opportunity to grow into something more powerful. The real fear isn't about losing jobs, it's about losing relevance, about waking up and realizing that the skill that once made you special is now available in a browser window for free. But let me tell you something. Relevance is not something you are born with. It's something you renew every year, every project, every time you choose to learn rather than coast. If you are listening to this and feeling uneasy, I want you to know that's normal. That discomfort, it's fuel, use it. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, a front-end developer, started experimenting with artificial intelligence code assistants. At first, it was a novelty. He would generate components, tweak them, and move on. But within a few weeks, he realized that his job was no longer about writing JSX. It was about refining, validating, and structuring interfaces in a way that AI alone couldn't handle. He upskilled, not by learning more syntax, but by learning design systems, user experience principles, and accessibility standards. Now he works with AI, not against it, and his output, it's much better, it's doubled. Another friend, a backend engineer, resisted these tools for months. He felt like AI was cheating. But eventually, he gave in. Now he uses it to write tests, validate edge cases, and spin up environments faster than before. But the core architecture is still his, is still essential. These aren't unicorns. These are everyday developers learning to adapt. So can you? Here is how I would frame the path ahead. First, accept that change is inevitable. The tools we use today won't be the tools we use in 5 years. Just like jQuery faded and React rose, just like server rooms gave way to cloud, AI will integrate deeper into our workflows. That's not up for debate. Second, double down on what machines can not do well yet. Empathy, contextual thinking, product intuition, systemic trade-offs, cross-functional collaboration. These aren't soft skills. They are survival skills. Third, experiment without fear. Play with these tools, build throwaway apps, break stuff, learn where they shine and where they fail. That's how you build fluency, not by reading blogs, but by doing. And finally, remember, artificial intelligence won't replace you, but a person using AI better than you might. This isn't a threat, it's a call to rise and shine. The developer isn't dead, but the old developer is. What we are seeing is the emergence of a new kind of builder. Someone who moves fluidly between problem spaces, who codes less but creates more, who sees artificial intelligence not as a rival but as a force multiplier. If you are willing to evolve, this is the most exciting time to be in tech. And if you are not, well, the world will keep moving on. So choose to move with it. Thank you for listening to the Change Dude podcast. I hope this episode stirred something in you. And if it did, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep this conversation alive on LinkedIn, in direct messages, with your friends or colleagues. And if you are a developer, here is my final word for you. Stay curious, stay human, and stay in the game. See you next time.